Hi guys, it's been a while since I've done a story time with Aunty Carmen, so it was time for a new one. I borrowed this book from my friend Miss Debbie at school, so this one goes out to Miss Debbie. It's her favourite book, and it's called Fancy Nancy. This is my room before I made it fancy. Kind of plain and dull and boring, don't you think? I love being fancy. Wow, look at all the fancy things in her room. She's got lights on the mirror and lots of feather boas around and tutus and ballet shoes. My favourite colour is fuchsia. That's a fancy way of saying purple. I like to write my name with a pen that has a plume. That's a fancy way of saying feather. And I can't wait to learn French because everything in French sounds fancy. Nobody in my family is fancy at all. They never even ask for sprinkles. There's a lot they don't understand. Lace trim socks do help me play soccer better. Sandwiches definitely taste better when you stick a frilly toothpick in it. A princess is supposed to keep her tiara on. What's a fancy girl to do? I asked my doll Maribel. Her full name is Maribel Lavinia Chandelier. Then I get an idea that is stupendous. That's a fancy word for great. Oh, what she's looking at. She's found some advertisement. There's an advertisement for tuba, private lessons with Harold. That's a coincidence, maybe not. Oh, look, she's written her own advertisement. Learn to be fancy with lessons from Nancy. Start today. Easy, fun, free. Maybe I can teach my family how to be fancy. I make an ad and I stick it on the fridge. Soon there is a knock on my door. My family saw the ad. They want to get started right away. Plain is yellow. Fancy is gold. Plain is leather. Fancy is patent leather. Plain is glasses. Fancy is sunglasses. Look at all the fancy things she's got on the floor to show them the difference. Plain shoes and fancy shoes. I wonder if they'll learn. The trouble is, my family don't own any fancy clothes. That's okay. I go, fine. What is that fancy word? Oh yes, accessories. Ooh la la, my family is posh. That's a fancy word for fancy. My mum twirls in front of the mirror. Why don't we go somewhere fancy tonight? How about dinner at the King's Crown, Dad suggests. Wow, my parents are acting fancier already. May I escort you lovely ladies outside? The limousine is waiting. My dad is our chauffeur. That's a fancy word for driver. Look at that lovely purple feather boa. When we arrive at the King's Crown, everyone looks up. They probably think we're movie stars. Don't they look fancy walking in the door? I am so proud of my whole family. They eat with their pinkies up and call each other darling. For dessert, let's have parfaits, my mum says. That's French for ice cream sundaes. Amazing! My mother knows French. When our parfaits are ready, I curtsy and say, merci. I carry the tray like a fancy waiter. Shoo! Oops! I trip! I slip! The tray does a double flip! Oh dear, look, her tiara has come off. I don't feel fancy anymore. I want to go home. Oh dear, she's got ice cream all over her dress. But her sister is being lovely and giving her back her tiara. After I get all cleaned up, I put on my dressing gown. Those are fancy words for bathrobe. I feel much better. I'm ready for a parfait. I tell my parents, thank you for being fancy tonight. I love you, that my dad says. I love you, my mum says. And all I say back is I love you, because there isn't a fancy or better way of saying that. So that's the book Fancy Nancy, and I'm sure Grandma saw some things in there that maybe reminded her of Aunty Carmen when she was younger, like the frilly socks that I used to have to wear to tap dancing. Okay, well, I'll see you again later. Bye.